All right, so here's the upper drum and tracking assembly for the 31550 Delta bandsaw. I got the new shaft in. I was going to film assembling this whole unit, but I had to take it in and out of the garage, back and forth. My wife was helping me. I really didn't have any way to be able to show this with the camera without us being in front of it, but I'll explain what I did. So, here's the old shaft. The old shaft was burned up pretty bad because this was all 15 millimeter all the way out. The new shaft came in and it was turned half 20 on each side for the nuts. So there was two shoulders. I measured from shoulder to shoulder. It was about 100 thousandths smaller than the overall length of the drum and the two little bushings that center this in here. So you can get a good crush on this assembly. I did press it into the drum. It's not a real hard press, but it is a press. Not that it really matters, because supposedly you're supposed to be able to push this shaft out very easily. It didn't come out very easy, but you're supposed to be able to. So once I got the shaft, because you have to kind of put it all together piece by piece, once I got the shaft assembled in here and I got it in the middle of this drum assembly, I put a standard half 20 nut on here, non-lock-in, just to come up against the bearing face, and then I put the lock nut on the other side. And the reason I did that is I didn't want to drag the shaft either way. Once I got that lock nut in position, I took the regular knot off and put the other lock nut on, and then I torqued it. I torqued it to about 35 foot-pounds. Okay. The only thing I got to do now is, you watched me do the thread for the little locking collar, because this whole assembly can shift a little bit, because this particular bearing is pushed in up against a hub, and then there's a threaded assembly that comes down, little screw mechanism that comes down and locks that into place. So that's still not finished. It's all made. I just got to put the little notches in it so that I can tighten it on there. A little spanner nut. I may even make a little spanner tool to drive that in there. We're going to put the slot in the retaining nut for the Delta belt sander. Okay, so it's going to be 156 thousandths wide, 5/32, and it's going to be roughly 50 thousandths deep. Okay, so we're going to do that with a saw blade or a horizontal milling cutter that we're going to mount in the Bridgeport. We're going to use this cutter right here. So as you can see, it's 5 inches by 5/32. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this in the spindle. I'm going to come in and I'm going to touch the top of the shaft that the nut has been machined on. So that's a piece of 1.5 inch DOM, which is drawn over mandrel, and the OD of the actual nut is about 1 inch 20 thousandths. But I'm going to touch off on the 1.5 OD only because I do not want to touch those threads. I'll move down from there. I'll move down 750, which is half of the 1.5 inch OD, and then half of the cutter, which is a 78 thousandths. So we should be around 828 thousandths. I'll touch off on the face of it, bring it in 50 thousandths, and we'll mill the slot all in one shot. Okay? Shouldn't be too hard of a project. Let's get going. we're touching, so we're going to come down 828 thousandths. Alright, that looks good. Now I'm going to touch off the face. Looks like we're touching. We're going to go in 50 thousandths. Alright, so the next stop is going to be to cut it off to length. So I'll take this over to the bench, deburr it a little bit. We'll chuck it up in the lathe and we'll part it off, chamfer it, and it'll be done. We'll install it. I'm going to put a little step in this, a little shoulder, where it's going to go against the bearing. So I'm going to come in here, clean up the threads, and then move over a little bit more and cut this off. Alright, so I'm going to go measure how deep those threads are. I'll move it over that amount. And it'll just have a little nose on it. Alright, so it's about 280. Just going to move it over a little bit. Alright, we're going to lock it down and cut it off. clean it up and bring you right back. Okay, so it's all done. As you can see, it's much bigger than the original, and when I say bigger, wider, and it's a little thicker, and that was by design. I wanted it that way. This one got all buggered up trying to get it out of there, and this one, like I had just said, I put a little nose on it just to make it start a little bit easier. Okay, so we're going to install this, then we're going to drop it in the belt sander, see what happens. I did make a little key to put it in there. Hopefully this is going to work and I'm not going to have to cut this side down. But we'll see where it lands. It might be perfect and not be a problem. Alright, so it goes right here into these threads. Just push it around with this. I can't use this because it won't go all the way around because it's too close. That's why I was saying I might have to cut the side off it. We'll see what happens. If it lands in the right spot, we might be okay. Oh, looks like it might. Alright, yep, it's gonna. Okay. That looks good. Fits nice, sticks up just a little bit, but there's nothing in here. There's nothing in the way of that. So what we're going to do, doesn't have to be super tight. Just going to put adjustable wrench on here. We're going to put that in there. Hold it straight. That should be enough. If for some reason it does loosen up, which I doubt it, I will put some Loctite on there. But I don't see any reason why it should. The direction it spins, it should tighten it, if anything. Alright, so I'm going to set the camera up over at the belt sander, and I'll show you how it goes in, put a belt on it, and start it up, see how it works. Alright, so this one tips it up for tracking, and this one back here lifts it up. Alright, go grab a belt. Alright, we're going to use a 120. Just got to make sure the arrows are going the right way. You got to go down. I can get it kind of lined up by hand. Once it's running, we can really fine tune it, but I want it close. it doesn't rub on anything. All set. Let me move the camera and I'll use it. I don't like to use it down here. It's got to go out in the garage because my toolbox and everything is right here. Hey guys, I want to thank you all for sticking with me for the repair of the Delta belt sander. A lot of these videos, or series of videos, have been done in a week's time. I just don't have the time to put something up every week. So there's a lot more coming. I have a lot more projects that are already finished. I need time to actually process the videos. So if you think I deserve it, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video online, and I hope to see you back. I've got quite a few videos up online right now. Peruse through them and watch them, and I thank you guys for watching. I do this for fun, and it's been a lot of fun for this journey for the last few years. Thank you. I'll see you next time.